This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com. I'm going to take a second look at the Breeders' Cup Classic in this video. Last week I covered an early look at the Breeders' Cup Classic, but we've had 3 defections, so I wanted to talk about it again after those horses are out. And then I just did an early preview of the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Now, if you're interested in my 2-day full cards for the Breeders' Cup days, Friday, November 5th, Saturday, November 6th at Del Mar, you will be able to find those full cards at the RunawayHorse.com on my sales page, Breeders' Cup Week. Right now I'm covering full cards for the month of October from Santa Anita Park. Then the month of November I will be covering daily full cards for the Bing Crosby season at Del Mar, including those 2 Breeders' Cup full cards that I just mentioned. Now if you're interested in my free selections that I post, I have a daily best bets blog at horseracing.nation.com, and then I post some free stake selections at the runawayhorse.com. And I will provide the links for those free selections in the description in this video if you're interested in any of those. So now let's take that second look at the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now last week I went through the whole pace scenario of trying to figure out how it was going to play out, and it seemed like there was a lot of speed, and there still is. We have had 3 horses defect from the Breeders' Cup Classic. They're not going to go now, and those horses are Dr. Post and Happy Saver for trainer Todd Pletcher, and then Maxfield is also out. Now, Dr. Post and Maxfield were more off-the-pace types. Happy Saver was one that did have some tactical speed, but he wasn't as quick as some of the other front-runners in the race. So those 3 horses are out. Now, I consider Dr. Post and Maxfield to be exotics contenders based on their patient style and the amount of pace in the race. But those horses are out along with Happy Saver. So now we have 10 horses that are possible for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Art Collector, Essential Quality, Express Train, Hot Rod Charlie, we have Idol, Knicks Go, Max Player, Medina Spirit, Stilleto Boy, and Tripoli. So those are the 10 horses that could go in the Classic. Now, as I mentioned last week's video, in the pace scenario, Art Collector is one that likes to be up on the pace. Hot Rod Charlie has been showing speed, but he's more versatile. He doesn't need the lead, but he has been showing some good speed. Knicks Go only has one way to go. He likes to just try to go wire to wire. And then you have a horse, Medina Spirit, that really does his best work on the front end. He's one that has early pressing versatility, but when he's been able to get the lead, he's really tough to pass. And that looks like the way that the race shape is going to be. You're going to see a horse like Knicks Go. He's never been 1.25 miles, so he almost has to go and try to get out there and control the pace. They don't want to try anything new. His best weapon is his speed, and I think for Knicks Go, they have to go. Because some of the other horses, Art Collector has been showing speed, but he's one that he's been comfortable tracking the pace as well. And then Medina Spirit doesn't need the lead, but he should be right up on that pace. So expecting Knicks Go to set the pace, if he breaks cleanly, he's going to go out there and he'll probably be the one to catch, but not too far behind horses like Art Collector, Hot Rod Charlie, and then especially Medina Spirit for Bob Baffert. He's going to be one that's going to be right up there. Now the key is, a lot of times you'll see races where they have multiple speed horses and one is able to shake loose or discourage the other speed. But the one thing about Medina Spirit is he has a fighting spirit. So if Knicks Go goes out there, you're going to see a horse like Medina Spirit get up on the pace with him, and he's not just going to give up. He's a fighter, so he's going to battle on that pace. He's going to make Knicks Go work for it, and easily, if those 2 get in a prolonged battle, it could set up for an off-the-pace type. As I mentioned last week, Essential Quality, based on his running style versatility, is the one to beat, and I feel the same way this week. Those scratches did not alter the pace scenario at all, and I think that Essential Quality, he can just be placed anywhere. If the pace is slow, as we've seen on more than one occasion this year, in the Bluegrass Stakes, in the Travers Stakes, if the pace is slow, he's going to get up there and be part of that pace and not let the leaders get away too far. If the pace is quicker, he can sit back and make a run. So he's been able to win all over the racetrack. He can come from 5 or more lengths behind. He can stalk the pace sitting right behind the leaders, or he can track from second. So that kind of versatility, along with his winning spirit, he loves to win races, it's going to make Essential Quality very tough to beat. So early on, he would be my top selection. Now I have to wait to see all the post positions and everything else to come into play. But Essential Quality is my top selection in the Classic, just based on his will to win, his running style versatility. He's a grade 1 winner at the 1.25 mile distance, and he's been able to run well at a variety of different tracks. So essential quality looks like the one to beat. Now Knicks Go, obviously he can win. That's his stablemate. They're both trained by Brad Cox, and he's got this one surrounded, it seems like, because he has your main speed, Knicks Go, and then he has essential quality who's versatile with the ability to stalk, press, or rally from further back. So he's got two solid win contenders in this race. And Knicks Go is one, but there's only one way that Knicks Go can beat you. A horse like Essential Quality, as I mentioned, he can beat you so many different ways, whereas Knicks Go, his only chance to win most likely is to get out there, control the pace, have the field strung out, and he's going fast, and he discourages the other speed, and he's able to hold off the late runners. That's his path to victory. He's not going to win the race any other way. He's not going to be pressing or stalking Medina Spirit and going by and holding off the closers. That's just not his style. He likes to get out there, control the pace, run them off their feet, and that's what he's going to need to do. Now, are there any upsetters in this race? Possibly a horse like Hot Rod Charlie. He's versatile. He's a 3-year-old. He's a graded stakes winner, and he just goes out there and he tries hard every single time. So he's one. I think he's not quite as good as Essential Quality, and he's not quite as versatile with that decent kick, but he has been in very good form this year. Art Collector, I think he's one that he needs to control the pace, and he's not going to get that scenario here. I've always been a fan of Art Collector. I just don't think this race is tailor-made for him. Idol, a late runner, he could get a piece of this on his best day, but right now his form does not seem to be conducive of him getting a piece of this, because I think the other horses are sharp, and there's some other horses that I would rather play besides Idol, so he seems up against it. Max Player is interesting because he can run all day, and he has that newfound tactical speed. When he started to find that tactical speed, he started to win some races. So Max Player is one that I think, if he can run away from New York, because if you look at his form, his best races have been in New York, but he's one that can stalk or he can close, and he can run the 1.25 miles. So he's obviously a graded stakes winner, and he's been facing some good horses, and he's in very good form. It's just a question of, can he bring that New York form to Del Mar? If he does, he's at least interesting to finish somewhere in the top 4. A Stilleto boy seems overmatched. And then Tripoli, he got a perfect trip in the Pacific Classic, and then he did not run nearly as well in the Awesome Again. And I just don't think the way that this race is going to shape up, that he's going to end up sitting a perfect trip, because you're going to have horses that like to stalk the pace. Horses like Hot Rod Charlie could be in a similar spot. Essential Quality could be in that spot, and even Art Collector. And I just don't think he's as good as those horses, and he's going to be able to get the job done. But give him bonus points for winning a grade 1 race at a 1.25 miles at Del Mar earlier this year. I just think this is a much deeper, tougher field, and he's not as sharp based on that last start in the Awesome Again. So overall, Essential Quality is going to be my top choice early on right now at this stage. I like Hot Rod Charlie to be somewhere in the mix because he always is in the mix. And then I'm starting to like Max Player a little bit, maybe to hit the board, because I know he can run all day. He's got that versatile style where he can stalk or close, and I think he's one that can get in there, and he could get a little bit lost in the shuffle with some of the bigger names in this race. So that's my second look at the Breeders' Cup Classic now, after we've seen those 3 defections that I mentioned of Dr. Post, Happy Saver, and Max Player, and Maxfield. And so that's my early look at the Classic, my second look at the Classic now. They're going to be drawing the pre-entries next week. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll be back next week. I'm going to take a look at some more Breeders' Cup races. It'll be the week before Breeders' Cup next week, so we'll know the pre-entries. So then when I come back and I look at my next previews, we'll actually know the pre-entries for the Breeders' Cup. Then the week after that, they're going to draw the post positions, and then the Breeders' Cup will be Friday, November 5th, Saturday, November 6th. And I'll be covering those full cards at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page. And that will wrap up my look at the Breeders' Cup Classic this week. Until next week, good luck at the races.